same series of research. That's James Taylor. In fact, we hope to be chatting with James a little bit later on here this morning. He's here at Duxford today. If you contact the media centre, which will be the best place to go if you would like to find out more about this TV series of films. That's the media centre at Duxford. Now, we've already heard from British and I mentioned just as we introduced that piece of archive that many of the correspondents
aerodynamic shape, that's giving a certain amount of lift. Otherwise it's also got a drag. Max speed, 531 miles an hour at 30,000 feet, average operating altitude.
Squadron formed a large part of the air offensive. They were based out of North Wales, just down the road, operating Mark 1 Hurricanes. They also cover the evacuation at Dunkirk. And we're re-equipped with Typhoons, taking part in the raids of Dieppe and supporting the Normandy invasions, and then all the way through into France and Germany. And by VE Day, the squadron had claimed over 130 enemy aircraft and destroyed 63 of those flying bombs. So the connection is quite clear.
Fast this time, darling. But
well, running in from the left is the arrival of the Fouga. Gear is up or down? Well, it's going to be up or down, I suppose, isn't it? At the moment it's down. I think he's going to do a touch and go. Watch his touch and go. It is different, to say the least. Now, he's on, holding the nose wheel up. Up comes the power. And he's going to get airborne by about an inch or so. We have, and the gear is now up. The gear is up on that aircraft. Now, what is he? A foot above the ground, 2 foot above the ground, nothing more than that. I think that's a straight belly in practice. Always we're looking for a jet trainer. Trainers were available, but they're mostly 2-seat versions of existing fighters like the Meteor T-17 and the T-33. Fouga became an instant hit, very popular, cheap to operate. Out. Paul is currently the commanding officer of 7th Squadron, Fouga Squadron, in charge of the standardisation evaluation cell. Got over 700 hours on the Fouga, over 1,000 on the Maquette. Classic detail of the Fouga. Went through various different designs. The original one, the main one, had the detailed. I only went to the photo and then when she went back. Long, graceful barrel roll. Aircraft, isn't it? Well, I think he's going to stay on because the car's not coming up again. May as well still off the ground. I have to go down eventually to the fence down there. Always amazes me how flat that aircraft takes off straight away. Just saying with Stratton that normally when Sally B displays we would get a good look inside of Bombay. Our Poppy's inside the Bombay doors, and it will be heading down to Southampton later on today to take part in the commemorative fly past down there where it will be depositing them in the sea. Very unfortunate if just in your routine you knew at this point you were over the bomb day and down there will come.
Absolutely. Was more adept as well at doing ground attack. 500-pound bombs underneath, and, especially the later models, Mark 18 with the cannons, very effective. Now. 42 and Guadalcanal. This aircraft on the fighter collection. One of the last of its type built, the FM2. And we're still searching for documents pertaining to its service history. So as the Wildcat comes through the overhead, straight ahead, massive beast that is, the Avenger. Tony Hank Thomas at the controls.
Notice he started up early, takes quite a time to heat all those cylinders to the operating temperature before you start opening up the thrust. Operating from the decks of the USS Bennington and Valley Forge, turning eventually to Norfolk Naval Air Station, east coast of America, where she continued her shore-based operations. Placed into storage in September '54. Tony Hank Thomas bought it, acquired it in 1987, sold Williamstown, Grass Valley and Savannah County for engineering work. Flying out there, 10 hours in 3 days, following which she was ferried to Long Beach and shipped back to Britain, arriving here at Felixstowe in February 1989. And it was towed on its own wheels along the A12.
Which was normally another pilot that would actually go forward with the advancing troops, and it would
for the instructor. It handles very similarly to that of the Hawk, to which the pilots will go on to. Considerably cheaper than a jet to maintain and run. Accelerating up to 180 knots before Martin Day commences his display sequence. Inverted and push, negative G, minus 2.5 G, up to the 70-degree pitch angle. Full through, completing the second half of the Cuban 8. Coming down to around about 100 foot, tracking the speed up 250 knots from the right low path. It's a 6G pitch. Left and right. Pushing up. Northeast all turn. Move to the right, move to the left, move to the right, move to the left.
I think they're behind us, are they? They're behind you! Okay, so they're behind the commentary position. So, as you can imagine, being gliders, they're not going to come zooming in.
This helicopter, not part of our display item, he's going to clear off the bit of wallop, which is a shame. This is the Boeing Apache helicopter. This particular one is the longbow. The longbow, you can see the whole back of it. He doesn't have to bring the helicopter aside. And he can considerably less than 30 seconds, but he is considerably less than 30 seconds. He can designate everything on the back, including the target, friendly, so he gives all the information to either other Apaches or in fact to other aircraft coming in. So the direct machine.
I don't like that gun. The gun is slave to the helmet. Just to cut the corners, and you've got to use the performance of the machines to catch up if it gets stretched. No throttling up to try and keep it nice and tight. So a lot of skill involved in this, and this is achieved by the pilot sensing the need for small turn that he can help each other hold positions smoothly so that you should hardly notice any movement. So here they go, the smoke is on, wings bending. Oh.
Watching that look. Oh.
That looks like the end of the looping part as they line up for landings. And look out for the tow planes that brought the team into the display, because they're going to come in and land on as well. That was a great little display. Now watch them as they line up moving in a landing formation. Watch the air brakes pop out from the wings. Gently does it. Many gliders that were used during the D-Day invasions. They formed a very large part of the assault. Unfortunately, there is no flying horse gliders. In fact, there's only replicas knocking about. I think they've got a couple down in Middle Wallop that they're trying to rebuild. Communication equipment. But will it have the indoor putting range?
It's long enough. I'm looking at more outside.
You may laugh, but I've been on board a couple of these and I've been showing how, because they're out on patrols, they can go like 12, 18 hours. Not everybody is working, is gainfully employed, shall we say. Is that the one where you get, alright mate, Essex way.
Hello, Essex here, isn't it? Don't want me.
Units, and they would fly unarmed over enemy front lines and spot not just their troops but also their artillery positions. And added to this, they carried more supplies directly to frontline units and rescued more men trapped behind enemy lines than any other aircraft. And in a single period of just 2 weeks, the Grasshoppers rescued over 800 Allied troops with British divisions that were surrounded by Japanese forces in the Far East. So a very effective aircraft. There's one particularly favourite story of mine regarding these. There was a gentleman called Major Bazooka Charlie Carpenter, and Bazooka Charlie, and just a handful of pilots and their mechanics with very few items of support equipment other than the tents they pitched up in to sleep with under the direct command of the local ground forces.
Flats cover 55% of the wing's leading edge. On the flaps added nearly 40% to the total wing area. You can see them deployed now. Dave Evans brings it into land. German commanders such as Field Marshal Erwin Rommel, here he is touching down. Erwin Rommel and Kesselring used the Storships constantly as their personal transport aircraft during their campaigns.
All 3 Harrier squadrons from Orient Cottesmore were deployed to the 2003 Iraq War. Well, they still continue today in that role, supporting the firing section.
William, 4G.
Rolling left. From their point of view, that is, from our point of view. Down into quarter clover.
Man on the formation's right hand side at full throttle. Man on the inside, not an awful lot of power being produced. Doing a lazy wing over, back onto the main display axis, using the kinetic energy gain for the first manoeuvre. Rolling out crowd centre, pulling back.
Narrow loop. Over the top. Around about 2,000 feet, peaking over the top. Rolling hard left. Round into 360-degree turn in front of us. That's a very tight, good formation. 360-degree turn. I'm expecting Aerostar 6 to lead the formation. Which he does. That would be Mark Jeffries.
That's still there. That is supposed to be moving up around this area, I think. Supposed to be, but we'll have to wait and see.
Okay, so Pete, tell us what are we looking out for then in the skies?
Well, what it'll be, the guys will come over at about 2,000 feet in the aircraft and they will chuck what we call a woody out, a wind drift indicator, and that will show the jump master which direction the wind's blowing and how fast the wind is blowing. And the jump master will let the guys get out of the plane on where the woody lands on the floor. It's just like two really long pieces of crepe paper, and that's basically all the jump master needs to know where he's got to let the guys get out of the plane so they can land safe to crowd level, which they can come down to 1,500 feet. Now the team is the only team in the world that can come down below 2,000 feet and exit the aircraft. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 parachutists making their way up to speeds of up to 120 miles an hour. Around 5,000 or 6,000 feet, you will see a number of... Now you'll see the other guys come down to about 2,000 feet before they deploy their parachutes. These are the more experienced guys on the teams. These are on canopies that are as small as 135 square feet. These guys will be coming into the arena at about 50 miles an hour. If you look above those guys, the guys that got the parachutes out can't get away from each other. And Corporal Asharian is at the top, as I say, he's piloting it, and he will give the command when...